Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all. Let us begin our session with Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah, we have come to the sixth series of our session. And I feel that I'm really happy to see the progress of our program, even though the number of participants sometimes not that encouraging, but nevertheless, what more important is that we are going to record this session, and hopefully with the rewatch capability in the YouTube as well as in Facebook, the knowledge can be disseminated and can be transferred to all, despite not able to join online. I do believe that at this time, some of us probably are quite busy with our other issue, especially preparing for the iftar for our family members. How are you, Brother Idlan? Thank you for joining. How is your fasting so far, Brother Idlan? Can you hear me?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Good so far.
Thank you very much for staying with me to become my crucial partner in this session. So to reflect back what we have discussed and what we have learned for the past 5 sections is that we have learned regarding the hukum related with hukum nun sakinah and tanwin, whereby we learned that there are 5 important hukums, and from there we can realize that there are certain hukum that require us to pronounce the huruf in a gunnah or in a nasal pronunciation. Also, there are hukum that require us to combine the gunnah with the subsequent letter pronunciation, and there are also hukum that require us to make it very clear without any gunnah or any added sound. Example like in izhar halki, and there shouldn't be gunnah in idram bila gunnah, but you need to combine the sound with the subsequent letter. And as a conclusion as well, I realized that the harakah for the gunnah is 2 harakah for any hukum, so that's much important for us to remember and easy to be executed in our recitation. So I would say that the hukum is easy to be followed, Brother Idlan, and however I'm a little bit excited today and more than happy to revise back the hukumat, which I think is quite difficult when I was in childhood. So yeah, like I told you before, during that time I memorize, and sometimes it's difficult for me to remember about the harakah, about how actually the name of the hukum according to the letter. Sometimes a little bit overlapping for me, but nevertheless, alhamdulillah, I think we have time now to discuss about hukumat, and I'm more than happy to invite Brother Idlan to proceed with his discussion and sharing. Brother Idlan, thank you very much.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good evening, everyone. So I will share my screen first. Okay, so I hope everyone can see. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so hope everyone have a good fasting and good Ramadan. Okay, so this is our first session in Ramadan, right? Okay, so we start right away. Okay, so first a little bit on Tajwid. Okay, so as I mentioned last time, in Malaysia we follow Riwayat Hafan Asim, and all Mukallaf Muslim is obligated to learn Tajwid. Okay, so for today we will start on mat, and we will start on the basic first, which is Mat Asli. Okay, so Mat Asli, I think everyone know Mat Asli, right? Because we can say almost every page must have Mat Asli. Okay.
Before that, Brother Idlan,
Okay.
really how many hukumat that we're supposed to learn, or actually
Oh,
is that exhaustive number, or basically there are a certain number of hukumat that exist?
okay. So sorry, I didn't include here, but actually it's think around 10 to 15,
10 to 15.
and each might have its own, what we call, its own way to read, and its own way how to we want to recognize it.
I see.
And I think Asli is the most simple one.
Yep.
We can, okay. So let's go to the Asli. Okay, so before that, we have to know that we must remember these three letter, which is awi. I like to use awi, alif, waw, and ya. Okay, so ma asli occur when this three letter is sukun, or in Malay we call huruf mati. Okay, three letter is sukun, and if there is any kalimah when we found that we have these three letter, any of three letter is sukun, so it should be read as ma asli. Okay, so it's not actually ma asli, it's actually any mat. But okay, so for ma asli I will explain later. And before that, for ma asli, we need to read it by two harakat. So mean that we need to prolong our recitation at that particular place for two harakat. Okay, so so as you can see, we have okay, so I think you can see my pointer. Okay, so first let's see on the right picture. Okay, so this is the example. Iyyaka, alif, alladhina, ya, and Musa. Wow. Okay, so if you notice, in ma asli, before each letter, it must be okay. So before alif, it must be what we call in English, must be baris atas.
Yeah.
Baris atas for before alif, and before waw it must be baris hadapan, and before ya it must be baris bawah. Okay, so that is the rule for ma asli. Why we need to know this one? Because there is another hukum which is ma'lin, which if before waw and ya it is baris atas, which baris atas should supposedly for alif, but if before waw and ya it baris atas, so it will be called ma'lin. But we will not discuss today. We'll discuss maybe next session. So I just want to emphasize that for each huruf, it must be followed previous huruf before the mat, the letter of mat. Before alif, it must be baris atas, and before waw, it must be baris hadapan, and before ya, it must be baris bawah. So that is the rule. I think it's quite easy. It's quite easy. Okay. And next.
Brother Idlan, when we're talking about huruf mat, is it means that the huruf mat alif waw ya and the preceding huruf with the according to the either its birth below or front line, doesn't mean that it's always in one kalimah.
Okay, so usually yes.
Usually, yes. So
But
it means that it can also happen
yes,
in two
yes.
kalimah. I
Nice.
see.
Okay, but actually on that part, I'm not really sure because I'm not quite observing on that. But
as long as it fulfills
yes,
that the
yes,
huruf mat preceded by that baris, either is above, below, or front, according to the huruf, then it's considered mat asli.
yes. Correct.
Okay.
That's the main concept.
Mhm.
Okay, and then for I think all of us already seen this one.
Yeah.
You call, I'm not sure in English what you call, but in Malay we
Small
call
alif, is it? Small alif.
as small alif, small waw, and small ya. Okay, so at first I thought it is another hukum, but when I asked back my my teacher, she also said that this one is also included in ma asli.
Okay.
Okay, and also the way we read it also the same, which is we read it for two harakat.
Two harakat. So does it mean that for mat asli is always two harakat?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
For ma asli, always two harakat. And for ma asli, we only have three letter, which is alif, waw, and ya. That's why okay, I will show later what I mean by it is really common in because almost every page. Okay, so I hope if we find this small alif, small waw, and small ya. Okay, so we also need to read itu harakat. Okay. Okay, so let's see for the example. Okay, so okay, if you can see, even in this short surah, which is Surah Al-Asr, it have many ma asli. Okay, so and I think after this class, maybe we can open back Quran and you can see that actually even in every page and maybe in every ayah.
Ayah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think almost
have
every ayah, yeah.
it have ma asli. Okay, so and the way to read it, just like Rajim. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Okay, so you see that this one is ma asli. We prolong by two ayah. Alladhi two harakat. Alladhi two harakat and amanu two harakat. But why for this one? Wa amilus solihat. Okay. So for this one, we need to notice that okay, after wow, after the wow sakinah, I mean okay, wow mati, it is the lam that also called sakinah, which means have no line. Okay, so in this case, and I think maybe we will talk this one later, but just want to show this one. Wa'amilus salihat. So in this case, when after the letter of mat, there is also the another letter that sakinah. So we will go straight to that letter, which means there will be no asli. I mean because say that if you read wa'amilus like wa'amil wa'amilus salih. Sorry. No. This one occur because of
Sabdu.
the shaddah. And actually, when there is, for I mentioned just now, I think it's about another thing.
Another, yeah, I think that one is another one. All right. But before
Yes.
that, Brother Idlan, I realized that the current mushaf that we usually use, when in Mad Asli, there will be no sign for the sakinah, like lafi, alladhi. But how about wow here? There is a sign of sakinah, because sometimes what I'm a bit confused is that, because I realized that when there are sign of sakinah, it means that it should not be to harakah. I thought. So, but in amanu, that will be to harakah, right? But there are alif with sakinah there, the signal of sakinah. Actually, I know it's not in this topic, but how to differentiate that with the mad asli that we need to make it to harakah, and the one that when we encounter with the signal or the sign of tanween, that we should not make it long, we should not make it to harakah, only one harakah. Because I remember there are certain ayah that when it's a symbol of sakinah, we cannot make it long. We just there will be a silence alif or silence waw for that. Yeah, silent. So we not consider that to be part of mad. How, Brother Idlan?
Okay, so if you notice for the sakinah, first we have like C, inverted C shape.
Yeah, inverted. Yeah, not full sakinah. Yeah.
Yes. And then for another one, we have like this.
Yeah, the full circle.
Okay, so actually because usually for sakinah with like zero shape. Usually that's what Dr. said just now, which means it doesn't carry any because it should be silent. Usually it occur it is located above alif.
Above alif, like in
Yes.
this one, right?
Yes. Alif, and also this one.
But
So
why then? But why then the amanu itu harakah? Despite there is a presence of alif, is it because of it's on the alif, not on the waw?
Yes. Actually, the asli because of the waw. Amanu. The waw.
All right. So understand now. So we focus on the waw. So here the waw actually there's no sign of sakinah on top of that. The one that carry the sakinah full sign is actually alif. So we silent the alif, so we remain the two harakah of the amanu, of the nun waw. Okay, understand. Let's say that there is no waw. Let's say there's no waw and there is nun. Let's say it's amana, no amanu lah, amana. And nun alif, but the alif there is a full sign of sakta or sakinah. So it means that we just read na without prolong it to na, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Because usually there is the reason why. Because of the location, maybe because of the location, which make the alif is silent.
Okay.
Yes.
So the sequence and the position of the alif is important. All right. So we need to be very careful as well to differentiate between one harakah or two harakah. All right.
Nice.
Any specific hukum for that alif, silent alif?
Actually, there is some special hukum only.
Yeah, but the way to pronounce, we know that we just need to silence it without making it longer. All right. Okay.
Because I think the next.
Yeah. Considering, sorry, Brother Idlan, sorry, I'm asking a lot today. Considering that there are sign of small alif there on saw, liha, ti, so that also ma'asli, right?
Yes, correct.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
How's about the watawa? Also ma'asli, right? Watawa.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if you notice, when we call, say just now, alif, waw, and ya. Okay, so if we can differentiate between this alif and this alif.
Yep.
Okay, so it means that for this alif there is no like design,
Yeah,
which means that it carry some
harakah.
like you can
Added
so,
one more, so 2 harakah. Yeah.
yes. Okay, why first we emphasize on Mat Asli because actually we call some people they tend to ignore uh ignore Mat Asli
Yeah.
and we call actually some people they just read uh they just read they prolong and they shorten like uh like what they want, which means that
True.
it will it will like it will disturb uh the recitation lah. And we if we that kind of recitation we can notice that okay, so which mean that maybe they didn't know which part they should long and
Yeah.
which part they shouldn't long. Okay,
Uh,
because okay, for my Asli important we know it, so we because we prolong at the part where mat occur, but some people even there is no mat there, they tend to prolong it. So uh, that's why we need to learn which one is mat, so that we didn't mistakenly prolong some kalimah.
I think the reason that I agree with you, possible that we forgot already the basic hukum, and sometimes we don't know, and sometimes feel a little bit inferior to ask someone else or like what is actually the correct way. Sometimes they thought that it's nice to be heard, nice to be recite, but doesn't mean that nice to be heard is true according to hukum, kan? But Idlan, right, great.
Okay, so also like for example lah, suppose innal insana lafi khusr. Okay, so actually I heard many time. Okay, so actually really when I was in primary school and secondary school, sometimes when I read with my teacher, I also tend to do something like that. And usually I will be apa, school uh, at that time because it should be something that we should take note seriously
Yeah.
because sometimes when we prolong, which means that we say that there is a letter of mat there, which means there is alif or there is waw, there is ya there. So which means that we already changed the kalimah.
The meaning it will be different, is it?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So that's why we need to. That's why first I would like to emphasize on mat asli. Okay, so thing is clear for this one, and let's go for the second example. So as you can see, shaitan rajim. ووضعنا ووضعنا عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك وإلى ربك فارغب. Okay, so it from asli it will always be two harakat. Okay, so if you notice there is other mat in this surah actually, but we will discuss it later. Okay, so for asli it will always two harakat, and if you want to practice, we will just always use our hand and use our finger. Usually for harakat we use our finger 1 and 2. ووضعنا عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك. Okay, why? Because we we should avoid from make it longer than 2 harakat, because longer than 2 harakat it will because it is specific for another mat, another hukum of mat. Okay, so so actually that is for mat asli. So we okay. Doctor have any
I have question.
Macam,
Can you go to the recent slide just now? The example of yeah, okay. On the ayah of 7, ayah 7. Sorry, 5, 8. Ayah 8. The last ayah of this Surah An-Nashr. Wa ila rabbika farghab. There are a letter of sign above, baris atas, followed by alif, right? Small letter of alif. So that's considered
okay.
mad asli. But on
Yes.
top of that, there are also another alif, right? We call no alif, small ya or ya, but it's considered like
Small, yeah.
what you call that? As,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So does it means that we silent that symbol after lam? Or we just focus on the small letter alif because wa ila, right? So they on after letter of lam there are another sign of mad which is ya there. Like when you like to see, let's say that is amali, so there will be ya there, right? Without any sakinah sign. But here there is a small alif on top of the silent ya. Um, Actually, how actually? Doesn't mean, is it mean that it's silent ya here or?
Okay, okay. Okay, so okay, so if we go back,
Yeah.
okay, so if we see this one, the alif is just we call above the sin, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so for this one, wa ila,
Mm-mm.
waw, alif, lam, and ya,
Mm.
and then we have a small alif.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't actually know about the ya below the small alif, but usually you can say
We just ignore lah, just apa, make it silent lah ya.
yes, and actually wa ila kan, this kind of kalimah
Yeah.
we can see at many part in
Yeah,
Al-Quran.
yeah, many parts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the way we read it, well, and Mu'ailan just wa
Yeah.
ila rabbika.
So meaning that the dominant one is still mad asli, so that ya we consider like silent ya. It's just there with on hikmah by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So but we're not going to pronounce or add on any harakah on that because we are now on the baris atas, which is la, not li, right? Okay, understandable, because sometimes I think if let's say that we confuse, sometimes we thought it's another harakah, so become 3 instead of 2. So it's just 2. It's still mad asli. All right, thank you.
Okay, so let's recap. Okay, so this the letter of mad, alif, waw, and ya, and so as it is now for mad asli before alif, waw, and ya, so as for alif before it, the in English
The
above
line
line,
above, the line
line,
conveying towards the above. Yeah, I think so.
then the front and
The front line, yeah.
yeah,
The front sign and the below sign, the below
below
line.
sign.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so why we need to remember this one? Because we'll encounter another hukum which is ma'lim, which it will a little bit different, but we will not discuss today. Okay, so it will always be to harakat, and also we shouldn't then forget about the small, small alif, small waw, and small ya. I think for small alif and small waw, it is easier to remember, but for the small ya, it is a little bit different shape. So we need to remember the shape.
Brother Idlan, can I ask one more question?
Okay.
On your current slide just now, current slide, on the third example, qablihi, right? Sometimes there are small alif on that ya.
Small
I
alif.
think small alif or another symbol nearby the ya.
And a symbol. Okay, okay.
Yeah, its
Okay.
meaning that it's prolong, not to harakat, right? It's add on harakah, right? Or is it no?
Yes. Okay. Actually, for wow in well for small wow and small yeah. Okay, so there is some situation when you see that there is like because there is a wave sign.
Yeah, wave sign. Yeah, true, wave
Yes.
sign.
Wave sign above the small wow and small yeah. There is situation that I mean there is situation meet,
Mm-hmm.
and so there will be wave sign above it.
Mm-hmm.
So it will not be ma asli anymore.
Okay.
It is another hukum.
Another hukum and the
And
harakah is
harakah is uh
it 4-5?
it should be 4.
Four, right?
Sorry,
Maybe,
one second.
maybe we can revise that again, but to be
Yeah,
on this this session, we know that it should not be 2. It will be longer
yeah,
lah.
yeah.
Okay. But when
Shaiful,
we yes, yes.
can I ask something?
Sure, you can ask. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for asking.
Regarding Mat Asli just now, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, whenever we read Al-Quran, there is a part where macam alif, lam macam tu, lepas tu you see the hamzah is either on top of the next alif, macam alif lam tu kan ada 2 alif kan, so
Mm-mm.
on the second alif ataupun di tengah-tengah. So bila tengah-tengah tu dia akan jadi mat asli if I'm not mistaken. Tapi bila dia on top of alif yang kedua tu dia dah tak jadi mat asli. Kita akan baca macam panjang, sahaja. Pernah encounter tak benda tu?
Pernah.
So that one is actually macam mana? Sebab kita memang depends macam it seems like to me benda ni dah depends pada dia punya position.
Yeah.
Kita dah no longer able to recognize berdasarkan dia punya baris depan dan alif panjang mat asli. Kita just sebab dia ada kat tengah-tengah so kita kena panjang jadi mat asli. Kalau dia ada kat atas dah no longer mat asli. Or ada better explanation.
Maybe Brother Idlan can respond to that. Thank you very much, Dr. Najihah, for joining and asking.
Okay. Actually, I cannot.
Probably possible that we
appreciate
need to find that kalimah. Later I will help Brother Idlan. I will pass
Okay.
that. Yeah. Yes, because sometimes we know the malasi, but when we're going to practice it, it's like quite challenging. Even though it's considered the first mat that we learn, it's very basic, but sometimes the sign and the position a little bit confused, not confusing for us that we don't know lah. But for those that have already practiced correctly, and I think it's easy. Possible that we will add on another. We can discuss further lah on the next topic. Yeah, we can share that. Thank you very much for Dr. Najihah. Anyone who like to ask or would like to give comment also is open at any time. All right.
Okay. So, I think that is for Asli.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can proceed with read Quran together.
Before I forgot, Brother Idlan, we other than the add-on topic, we also going to discuss later lah, possible on our last last session lah in future about how to end ayah. Are we going to cover that? If because sometimes kan when in Mat Asli, when we would like to end it, how will be the harakah? Sometimes also a little bit confused, especially when they also wave on the top of mat. Should we just stop it there, or we need to make it some two harakah? Sometimes also I observe most of them is just on that dot. It's just add on without any harakah lah. But possible we need to revise as well lah. The way that we end ayah when there is a mat sign on that lah. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Actually, for how to if we and ayah.
Yeah, on
When
mat.
there is
Yeah.
mat. Okay. So
Yeah.
actually, I should also cover in this one.
Okay,
Sorry,
maybe
sorry.
you can enlighten us a bit.
Okay. For I will take just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for if we end ayah. Okay. So usually Okay, so for example, for this one, إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا. Okay, so I start at عملوا.
Mhm.
عملوا. Okay, so you see that when we start at عملوا,
Mhm.
so the shaddah after that
Mhm.
didn't have any effect.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, even if we stop with ma asli, we still need to read it by 2 harakat.
I see. So if we stop there, still 2 harakah.
Yeah.
So it will be amilu,
Yeah,
not amilu.
harakat.
So amilu.
Yes.
I
Yes.
see.
That's because some people tend to forget about it,
Yeah.
because sometimes they think that because of we stop there, so there will be no asli. And when
Actually, I
when I
thought like
ask,
that. I thought like that. I thought
okay,
it's like that when it's 2 harakah, when you end the haya on masih, then it become 1. I thought it's like that. So amilu, but it's actually amilu, 2 harakah. Right? Okay, all right. It's because sometimes we need to take our breath. So sometimes we tend to stop at certain point in the ayah. So sometimes we thought it's amilu, but it's amilu. So same lah. See, okay, thank you.
still 2 harakat. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still mat asli.
So mat asli at any time, either is when you are recitation it in the middle, or you're going to end it, is always 2 harakah.
Yes,
Okay.
2 harakat. Okay, so and actually that's kind of mistake also I also do for the last time, but when my teacher, think just like 3 years ago, like, yeah, the 3 years past, I just noticed about we still need to prolong
I
even we
see.
stop, and it's still considered as asli.
Right. Thank you very much for enlightening me. I never asked this before, I think so. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I think we can proceed.
Yeah, we
Is
can proceed now.
maybe Dr. want to.
Yeah, okay. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Brother Idlan. Now me and Brother Idlan will recite this ayah. So it's still in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, right? Surah Al-Waqi'ah, yeah, Brother Idlan. So now we are in the ayah number 20. We're going to recite ayah number 20 until ayah number 29. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المأنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود صدق الله العظيم.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I think it's a good recitation.
Or maybe Brother Idlan would like to recite as well, so that we also can learn from you.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. anyone from our participant would like to recite and would like to recite this ayah from ayah 20 to ayah 29? Any volunteer? Right.
Can I chat?
Yes, yes, sure. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله
Thank you, Dr. Azmir.
الشيطان الرجيم ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود صدق الله العظيم.
Alhamdulillah menjadi imam ni, imam tarawih.
Alhamdulillah. Good recitation.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Azmir. Alhamdulillah, Brother Idlan and the rest. I think I've learned a lot today regarding hukum mat and also associated issue regarding with mat lah, which I've discussed a little bit just now. I'm sure there are some other issue that possible if we remember or we would like to discuss, we can bring forward in the subsequent session, and also would like to share about that kalimah that we discussed just now with Brother Idlan. So I think until now, I think that's it. Alhamdulillah, we're reaching 6 p.m. now. And I would like to wish everyone selamat berbuka puasa later on. Selamat menjalankan ibadah puasa. Alhamdulillah, we're still in the first 10 days of Ramadan. So hoping that every second in Ramadan is really crucial and really essential for us to do our ibadah. And hopefully we can benefit the time to the fullness that we can do it. With that, I would like to thank Brother Idlan once again and to all for participating in this session. We end our session with Suratul As and Tasbih Kifara. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Selamat berbuka puasa.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you for joining.